All right. And it's going to be all right. You think it won't now? It's going down now. You think it ain't when it is. You think it ain't when it is. You think it won't when it is. We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing. Fast lane, taking off left lane, no coasting. It's the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. And we are here and you know how it go. I'm sorry that I'm late, but please don't hate and don't hold it against me. We're going to rise this rent. Wait. Hold on. I'm a little fuzzy over here. But it's going to be all right. Yeah, you know it's going to be all right. How we do now. Urban Therapy with Sun. And look, this morning on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about what if the rioters were black? What would it have been like if the rioters were black? You know, we saw what happened on the 6th of this month. We saw what happened 4 days ago on that Wednesday. Hey, I'm sorry, it was a two. It was the 6th of the month. And here it is, the 10th. And what we witnessed the other day with the invasion of Capitol Hill was something that we probably never thought that we would see in our lifetime. It was something that we have seen in movies and things like that, but we never thought that we would actually get a bird's eye view of it actually coming into existence and reality. And now we have this. So we've already been talking about it. We've already been having the conversation about if they would have been black, if they would have been this, if they would have been that. And we think we know what would have happened. But let's really get into it tonight. I'm sorry, today, y'all. Let's really get into it on the Urban Therapy with Sun show. And let's really dissect this thing, pick it apart. And let's see what we really think or how we really feel about if things would have been a little different and the majority of us would have been black people invading Capitol Hill. Would we have been able to even get that close? I don't know. I can't say, but I know it didn't happen on that day. It was the 6th of the month, 2012, January, and shit went down like hell. And now we see a bird's eye view, and I don't know if it would have went down to the wire like it did. I know they wouldn't have walked us down there like we was little kids. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, be about it, take it apart. Let's put it back together and let's restart. Emily Dunlap is in the house in the bow. She about to turn it out. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Except my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. It's good to see you, my brother. Thanks for coming on out. It's always good to see you around, and that's without a doubt. And Carol Chamberlain, that's my favorita. Always good to see you. I'm glad I met you, and never forget you. You etch up in my mind and my heart. We do this thing from the start. Word. So that's what we're talking about this morning on the Urban Therapy with Sun show. Let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this shit. The Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every Sunday morning from 11 o'clock till around 12:30-ish. And the reason that we say it 12:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is Sunday. Sunday, baby. Urban Therapy with Sun. And we, listen, this is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We play on the monkey bars, the swings, push each other up the sliding board, play in the sandbox, get it popping with each other. We take an introspective look into our own life to see how we project ourselves into this thing, this universe, to try to figure out this thing that we call life living. And what we give it, we're going to find out right now. And it's going down. Stacey Yvette White, good to see me some. I said Stacey Yvette White, thanks for coming through. So it's the Urban Therapy with Sun show, right? So y'all know what, y'all saw it. Y'all saw the initial videos of when they breached the doors and the halls and the walls of Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill. That was the building that they breached. They invaded it. You know, I think it's important that we probably just call spades for this exercise and say exactly what our eyes saw and how we felt about it and where we could take it from there. But what if the majority of the breachers, the invaders, the insurrectionists, the rioters, the looters, and they were looters. They actually took stuff from out of Capitol Hill on some old souvenir shit. What if they had been black? Now, I know we was already talking about it. You know, there's a whole lot of street talk about it. Like, yo, if they had been black, we would have never even been able to get up that close to it. They would have shot us down. They would have hurt us. They would have beat us. They would have took it all the way back to the Jim Crow days and got the water hoses out and sprayed us down. It would have been SWAT. It would have been FBI. It would have been ATF. It would have been CIA. Everybody would have been out there. They would have bombed us like they did the move members on Osage Avenue in Philadelphia back in 1985. All legitimate concerns. All legitimate concerns. And I can't say that any of that stuff is wrong. But what we want to get into, what I want y'all to follow me on today, is how we really, really feel about had the protesters been black. Because you can't just, I don't think that it's a good idea for us to just judge everything that happened on that day. We have to take a look at what would it have been leading up to that day. See, leading up to that day, one thing that we didn't have was the president on our side telling us to ride. Other allies of the president of that administration making it all right. We probably wouldn't have thought that even if things go awry and there were too many arrests and they were serious arrests and charges, that there was a way that we were going to be acquitted or even pardoned. We wouldn't have thought that. That wouldn't have been the feeling. And if they had been black, would we have been fighting for that cause in the first place? It's amazing when you really think about the value system that is in play right now. They were fighting because their candidate that they believed in lost an election. That's what they were fighting for. That's what they were fighting about. That's what they were protesting for. That's what they were protesting about. Their candidate lost. Their leader did not prevail in a presidential race. So when we ask, what if they had been black? Would we have been riding for that in the first place? That's what you have to ask yourself. I'm not so sure that for black people, that cause was important enough for us to have even gotten involved in that. I don't know. What's up, Funny Peaches? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate me some you. You know that I do. And if you didn't know, well, now you know. It's Son 752, aka O. Forgot to say that too, didn't I? I'm your host, Son 752, aka Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, well, then you just say Omar with the R. The daily. I'm sorry, it's the Urban Therapy with Sun show. It's Sunday, the 10th of the month, and we are in motion. We here to do the damn thing. And we're asking the question: what if the rioters? What if the rioters? What if the looters? What if the protesters? What if the insurrectionists? What if the invaders had been black? Well, I was just talking about the circumstances leading up to when they actually did breach the lines of Capitol Hill. Would we have been out there for that purpose in the first place? Before y'all say hell no, you have to consider something. Unfortunately, everybody who did breach and who did go out there were not white. Of course, there was some of us tokens in there. They had some of us peppercorns up in there, and they made sure that they showed that in the footage. There was no way that if there was a black man or woman anywhere in the vicinity that they wasn't going to let us be seen. They made sure. Latinos too. Of course. They don't want you to think that there was good law abiding, church going, God fearing white people would ever act in such a manner. Why would they misbehave like that? And it's amazing to me, very contradictory when you think about the way that this country was created or discovered or developed. It sure wasn't by being polite. We look at the Englishmen as being polite, well-spoken, even more intelligent. But they were savages. Slave catching and breeding savages. Very violent. So I guess just because you wear a suit does not mean that you won't get busy with a gun, with a knife, with a mob of people. But let's take it back to what I was talking about. Would we have even been a factor if the majority of who invaded Capitol Hill had been? Would we have been there to defend Donald Trump? No. But there are plenty of Trump supporters, as we know, and some of them were there, showing their little token black ass, taking away our ability to say, well, it wasn't no black people there. Yes, there were. More than one, more than three, probably more than 10. There may have been 20 of us out there, scattered, because there were thousands of them. Kiss me a lover. Kiss me a lover. Or is that? No. Kiss me a love. Kiss me a love. Kiss me a love. I know who that is. Anyway, welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Thank you for coming through on the Instagram side. Appreciate me some. Carol Chamberlain says dogs, tanks, horses, armed police, and soldiers. You know it. Yeah, they would have had those things prepared for us. So I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Now, the funny thing about it, though, is when we start talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and the riots or the rebellion or the protests that happened following the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other black people. I can't remember everybody's name who was killed by police in the summertime, or at least hurt by police, because that guy up in Milwaukee he didn't die. Amazingly, he didn't die, but he'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But yeah. We saw the preparation that was put in place to make sure that those Black Lives Matter protesters didn't get out of hand. But what I want to say about the whole Black Lives Matter protesting thing is that even those people were white people. The majority of those people were white. It was us coming out for the initial, protest. But when you start talking about Black Lives Matter and you start talking about protests for Black Lives Matter, you see mostly white people. Black people come out initially, but we don't keep protesting and protesting and protesting. Ain't nothing for us to protest for anyway. We don't get shit out of it. We don't get the change or the legislation or the upgrades that we would like to see. We don't get it. So what we do get is preparation to make sure that things don't get out of hand and we don't start acting a fool. We gonna get that all day. You think we won't when we whiz. You think we ain't when we is. So that's just how that goes. And that's something that we have become accustomed to. Black people know their place, whether we accept our place or not. And we know that our place has to be a place where we learn how to exercise self-control, because if we don't, we will get hurt. We will get killed. We know. There is no doubt about it. We don't have to wonder about that. There's no confusion about what happens to us when we try to get busy as if we have rights or we have privileges or that we will get a pass or that it's going to be okay. As if we have allies that are going to help us out or are going to assist us in any type of way. We know what it's like to be sold out. We know what it's like not to be able to persevere when we get in any type of trouble, even if the trouble that we get into is in defense of injustice that has been perpetrated against us. We already know. Once we open our mouths or send an email or announce on video that we are coming out to do something in large numbers, we already know they're going to get ready for us. And they never disappoint. They are always ready for us. Steady, are you ready? Are you ready to crack some heads? And even if the majority of white people are there in protest of what seems like a black movement, and I have to say that those who understand what I'm talking about understand what I'm talking about. Those who don't understand what I'm talking about don't understand what I'm talking about. Please learn, listen, and we'll get it popping one day. But what I'm saying is, even if white people are fighting for black movements or black matters or black lives or black existence in any way, we already know that our announcement that's coming is going to bring a lot of heat, a whole lot of it. And we already know, like, yeah, we're going to take it this far because anything farther is going to fuck us up. And they never disappoint on that either. So I have to do this real quick, man. I can't stand having a jagged fingernail, y'all. That shit drives me crazy. I have to get that out of here. I don't use a nail file because I'm not deep into that much of nail grooming. I just try to cut it right. I don't like having fingernails, but I do like to peel an orange. So we already know what the potential for is, what the potential for against us is if we should get too far out of hand, get too big for our britches, start forgetting who we are, where we come from, and what we mean to the government, to the world. We already know. But we wouldn't have been out there protesting no president, so-called having an election stolen from him. Stop the steal. I saw this one light-skinned nigga out there. And he was inside the Capitol Hill talking about some stop the steal. So I was like, dude, don't you know in an instant you could go from riding with them, riding for them, to being rode on you. Carol Chamberlain says, remember when the young lady was shot and killed making a U-turn in front of the Capitol? She was killed for nothing but driving while black. driving while black, and it wasn't even announced that she didn't even announce that she was coming or going anywhere. But they are always ready for us. They are never unprepared for us. But if you look at what happened in Capitol Hill on the 6th of January, just a few days ago, what do you see? What do you see? Do you see what I see? You know, when you listen to a lot of these news reports about how the insurrectionists, the invaders, I'm going to stick with calling them the invaders. The invaders knew exactly where to go in Capitol Hill. Like they had a map. They knew what certain people's offices were or whatever. They seemed to know. Now let's just say that the quote unquote mainstream media, liberal media, whatever, let's say they're lying. Let's say they're lying and there weren't any people who knew where certain offices were. Maybe they just happened to invade the Capitol and just went wherever they saw open door or whatever and just landed at certain places. Let's just say that. Well, nonetheless, they did reach those places. And the places that they reached weren't common places that you would just automatically know. They weren't that. There's so much to talk about when it comes to this topic. And if y'all would like to talk about it, I invite y'all to call in. And the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. It's 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby, on. 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 Get your shine, baby. 319-527-6199, baby. If you want to talk about what happened on the 6th of January of 2021, or if you have some other issue that's related to what happened on that day, I invite you to call in, and the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. Press number 1, and that will let me know that you would like to speak, and I will call you out by the last 4 digits of your telephone number. You can rock on and do the damn thing. It's the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. I'm your host, Sun752, aka Omar with the. Okay, all right. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right, so like I said, there's so much to this story that we could pick apart, that we could dissect, that is staggering to me. It really is. You know, we're talking about the fact that there were white people who were able to get away with this shit. There were people who got inside of the building who seemed to know where they were going. The fact that they felt like it would be okay to do this from the beginning. And that it was allowed, and that no matter how bad things got, most of the majority of police officers never reached for their gun. They never reached for their guns. But with Black Lives Matter, they did. Whether you're talking about real bullets, or whether you're talking about rubber bullets, or whether you're talking about stun guns, or whether you're talking about being maced, or whether you're talking about a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of non-lethal ways that would normally have been employed, but not this time. No. It was not going down like that. But if there were black people there, I think it would have gone down like that. We have been rushed on, rolled over for much less crimes than this was committed. It's a natural thing to be afraid when you're dealing with a mob of people, when you're dealing with a group of people that seems like they are hell-bent on hurting you. So I can understand how you would how a person, male or female, would like to turn tail and just bail out in a situation like that, but you just can't do it. It can't be done. But it was done by the police officers. That tape of that cop running up the steps with a gun on his hip, swinging, what was that, a tree? That wasn't even his baton. That wasn't even the nigger knocker or the billy club. And it looked to me like he was afraid to use any type of force. This motherfucker was running. Stop. Don't do that. Stop chasing me. Where my boys at? Where my dogs at? Carol Chamberlain says, funny how they are called insurrectionists instead of rioters. Insurrectionists. No, so it says, you mean the Herman Cain halfway acting pro-Trump? Seems like more than half to me. You know, it says we have a habit of dry snitching on ourselves to where they see us coming. Well, if you have thousands of people coming to Capitol Hill, it's going to be announced anyway. My point is, what happens after the announcement? Because we knew that those protesters were coming to protest Donald Trump not winning the election too. We knew it. Plenty of people knew it. But what was done by the authorities to thwart it, to divert it, to diffuse it, to refuse it? To this day. Now, of course, one woman did get killed. And I hate to say it, but she kind of had it coming. When you consider what she did in order to cause her own fate, and make no mistake about it, she caused her own fate. She was wilding. She was wilding. Yeah. Carol Chamberlain says, Omar, they were acting like they were on a tour of the building and knew exactly where to go. Right. No, it says, yes, at Carol, carrying podiums, posing on statues, kicking feet up on desks, scaling walls, etc. Carol Chamberlain says, I truly believe they had help. They had inside help and the delay in calls for reinforcement. The Capitol Police have been known to be very aggressive, by all accounts, real badass, and that's even with the politicians. You don't have your ID. Who was telling me about that? Chris Cuomo. He was saying how, you know, he's been yelled at and threatened by Capitol Police for not having his ID or for moving too slow or whatever. They're supposed to be real badass, as they say. But it definitely wasn't so bad. I guess they were showing a gentle side. Just okay. Carol says, how about there were so many veterans who took part, huh? We're going to talk about. No, so it says, of course they did. Former military personnel. I'm just as surprised today as I was 4 years ago. Carol says, he was black, so you know he was. Carol says, also, oh yeah, she did a 14-year Air Force veteran. Let me ask y'all this. Because one of the things that has really been eating at me is this. I don't know how anybody can be comfortable with what they saw 4 days ago. I don't know how you can be comfortable with that. Because what happened on Wednesday is something that affects every single citizen and visitor in this country. If people who are angry about the results of a legal and fair election can go ahead to your Capitol building, your federal building, not your state building. Not that that's any better, but your federal building where your government governs, where they make all of the decisions that will govern the safety and welfare of the entire country. You want to see that? What we saw on Wednesday, you all right with that? You're all right with seeing these cats break inside the building, terrorize folks, yell and scream, put up flags, anti-American shit. You ain't even got to be a patriot. You don't have to be a America is number one type of motherfucker to have a problem with that. Even if you hated this country, I don't think they just satisfied with what you saw on Wednesday. Because when you peel back all of the layers, you got to say to yourself, like, if the government won't or can't stop these motherfuckers, what makes you think we can? What makes you think the local police can? What makes you think that any of our community leaders can stop that? If these motherfuckers get mad enough, they'll just do whatever they want to. And they obviously have other people that are co-signing the shit, and it's all right. So where's your power? Where's your power? Where's your power? Where is your power? If somebody who's just mad about a game that they lost, fair and square, if they can go fuck shit up, tear shit up, and tear people up who are supposed to be law enforcement and law enforcers, how can you be all right with that? I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Even with Donald Trump, I don't see how he can be comfortable with that shit. You really want to think? Let's get into this shit, y'all. How can the president of the United States be comfortable with that shit, even if he caused it? Think about it. Think about it. This time, they did it for you. The next time, they could do it to you. He didn't think about that. Rudy Giuliani didn't think about that. Don Trump Jr. didn't think about that. Like, how do you... Yo! If you can get motherfuckers to do that for you, you don't think that anybody else could do that, or you don't think that anybody else could get them to do it to you. You know, people are fleeting in their loyalty to certain things and certain people. So you don't think that there could have been a situation where, or you don't think that there could be a situation where the same thing that you did to somebody else could be done to you and in a way worse way? That doesn't register to you? If I was a government official, I would be tripping over that. I wouldn't give a fuck if I was on the lowest level of being a government official. I wouldn't give a fuck if I was just a block captain. Like, yo, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. It ain't. And I'm thinking about it on any level. On any level. let's take it away from the Capitol building. But that is the cream of the crop. That's the top of the heap. They cannot violate any farther than that. They can't. They can't. But let's take it a step farther. Or backwards, depending on how you look at it. If it was just your local police precinct that motherfuckers got mad about and ran up in the precinct, in the police precinct, and started tearing shit up and fucking shit up and beating up the cops, would you be all right with that? As much as I hate cops, I ain't all right with that. Nah, we ain't doing that. Ain't the right way. And you know why I can't be comfortable with that in any kind of way? Because it was us. It was my granddaddy. It was my grandmama. It was my former, my past, my ancestral cousins, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. It was them. Over some perceived injustice, them motherfuckers felt like they could exact street justice because they were the majority and they were they were the intimidators and they were the aggressors and nobody was going to do anything about it. Nothing was going to happen to them, so they figured they could do whatever they wanted to us. It was us. How could these stupid ass niggas be comfortable looking at that? Knowing we've been through racism and discrimination and the injustice system and an unjust legal system and Jim Crow and slavery and Reconstruction. How could we be comfortable seeing that? So what if it was black people? Guess what? It couldn't be. It couldn't be. It's out of our realm of imagination. We can't conceive that. We can easily take our brains off. Take our heads off of our shoulders and put it right here and try to think of it this way. Well, things are changing. So if it doesn't matter whether black people did it or white people did it. The thing is, Americans did it. And if Americans are standing up for American justice, maybe it wasn't meant for them to do it before, but they can sure do it now. And if they can do it, I can do it. Dumbass motherfucker, no, you can't. Because if you could have done it in the summertime of 2020, you would have done it. So what if they had been black? What if? There would have been a whole lot of court cases coming up. There would have been a whole lot of explaining to do. There would have been a whole lot of people saying, that's what the fuck we get. We must be crazy trying to break into the Capitol building. To do what? To do what? For who? How? How come? My brother Ansel Jones is in the house. What's going on, my brother Ansel Jones? Good to see me, some of you, my brother. Thanks for coming on through. Hold on. Captain says, "Oh yeah, she did." Talking about the woman who was shot and killed. Oh yeah, she did a 14-year Air Force veteran. Oh, she did a 14-year tour service in the Air Force. No, so it says Capitol Police were acting quite vaginal that day. They were very twat-like in their dealings. Extreme. I like that. Vaginal. Yes, they were very kitty cat. They were very, very kitty cat like. Carol Chambers says, I have a friend who retired from them a couple of years ago, and he has shared some things with me. He's a retired Navy officer. Carol says, in Philly last week, they arrested 6 whites for damaging federal buildings here, and they found them in a couple of days. Ansel says, it's a white man's world. They were mad. They were mad. We should look. Wait. They were mad. We should. Wait a minute. Oh, they were mad in their feelings. Oh, they should be mad. Their feelings were hurt. All lives matter. I have a Black Lives Matter shirt I wear with my Iraq veteran hat. That's what's up. We should get a Occupy Wall Street. We should get an Occupy Wall Street shirt too. T-shirt and sweatshirt. And I support Occupy Wall Street. But you see, Occupy Wall Street didn't try none of this bullshit. They were just as mad at the government sending, they were spreading the truth about what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan. They were telling the truth. Like, we over there getting money. They told us that it was terrorists over there. Ain't no terrorists over. I mean, they're terrorists over there, but now they ain't looking for us. They ain't even thinking about us, but they thinking about us now because we over there. But it ain't had nothing to do with terrorism or nuclear weapons or any of that kind of stuff. And so says, I had white people I worked with show their ass because Trump was their get out of jail free card. Carol says, don't forget, here's two Americas. Oh, there's 2 Americas, one for whites and one for blacks. And it should be 3 Americas. It's one for whites, one for black, and one for whites who care about blacks, because they get their ass whooped too. I saw some Black Lives Matters white folks getting their ass whooped. And yeah, plenty of them came down there to get busy in the first place. So white men love violence. Love it. And they love conquest, and they love taking over countries. They love that shit. It just makes them. T. Carey Wright is all up in the place. It's good to see me some you. Wish I could see your face. No diggity. And Tristan Sheese. Tristan Sheese says they getting fed these fake materials that tell them that the election was rigged and that Antifa was LARPing. Something targeted and trolling them. Tristan, she says, how do you expose the truth to people that think that they are getting the truth by what's that? Anon internet users and disbelieve media. You mean like that QAnon? What's that shit? QAnon. Yeah, you talking about QAnon? Yeah. Well, let's get this straight, because we need to cut the bullshit. First of all, we all get our information from the media. Whether you want to talk about mainstream media, the liberal media, the conservative media, the media, YouTube media, you saw it somewhere on a video, heard it somewhere on the radio. It's all media. If it involves a microphone and a camera and a person behind it, it's all media. I'm media too. So if I point a camera on me and spew or talk my truth to anybody, and I influence people to believe what I'm saying or to accept how I'm doing things, I'm media. And I don't have no problem with that. I don't think that any of the media outlets are 100% right or 100% wrong. We go by information that we have been fed. Now we look at it differently because we have different perspectives. But we're not all right and we're not all wrong. But we all use the media. These motherfuckers really believe that the election was stolen from them. It's not your election. These are free and fair elections. It's not yours. There's more than enough evidence to support that these ballots were missing. Well, where the fuck is it? Hold on. Hello?
Hi, this is Amazon with your delivery. Are you home?
Yeah, I'm home. Are you outside?
Yes.
All right, I'll come out.
All right, thank you.
All right. Hold on, y'all. Thank you. You too. What we got here? Hold on. What we got? What we got? What we got? Delivery. What is it? Okay, that's what's up. All right. Yeah, the little delivery. Yeah. But like I said, y'all, we are all influenced by the media. We all get our information from the media. Carol talking about something. Is that my President Omar? Something like that. Let's see. Ansel Jones says they didn't want to accept MAGA as a terrorist group. And says news is fabricated by others to mislead. They saw material that convinced them otherwise. Judges threw out their so-called evidence. They don't accept that. There are certain qualifications that things have to have in order to be considered evidence. Anybody who has been to court understands this. You can't just go in and say, well, I seen somebody do something or I heard somebody do something or whatever. That's not evidence. Eyewitness evidence, yeah. If you want to give an eyewitness account to something that you saw, yes, that's cool. But in court, it doesn't work that way unless you are nothing or unless you are being used as nothing except for a witness. You still have to have some type of physical evidence. So if you say that ballots were missing, then you have to show the ballots were missing. And you have to show that the ballots were missing from people who were supposed to have been able to vote or were not eligible to vote, who tried to vote. You have to show significant evidence. Here's one thing that they didn't tell you. In the state of Pennsylvania, there was evidence to voter fraud. But guess who the evidence of voter fraud went against? Donald Trump. It was some conservatives who tried to vote twice. Some Trump supporters who tried to vote twice, 2-3 times. And there was significant evidence. Yeah. What a shock. One thing that I don't like about the media is that they will try to convince you that one side is right and the other side is wrong. I don't see why it's necessary to do that, but I do understand why it's necessary to do that in some ways because it works. It works. People feed into it. We are very sheep-like. Sheep. Lead me, master. Bah, bah, bah. Hold on, what Emily talking about over here? What Emily talking about? She says, I was watching a podcast last night, and this guy thought he was rationalizing Trump and the rioters' action of what happened. Well, that's all right. So you probably wrote you wrote that probably when I was talking about what I was talking about. I don't see how anybody, whether you rationalize it or not, I don't see how anybody can be comfortable with what happened. Even the people who did it, I don't see how they can be comfortable with that. Because what you do to somebody can be done to you. If somebody doesn't understand the truth that you're telling, or they don't believe that you're telling the truth, and they decide, well, since you're going to lie to me and you violated me, well, I'm going to get you back. And you're like, I'm telling you, I didn't do anything. And they're saying, yes, the fuck you did. And you're going to pay. And you're going to pay for lying to me. You know how many black people have been executed over lies? We talk about way more. We're talking about way more than just Emmett Till. There have been so many black people down south, up north, Midwest, West Coast that have been railroaded to hell in the legal system because somebody said that they did something that they didn't do. And because they were able to present so-called evidence, we were convicted, we were arrested, convicted, and executed. White people don't know a whole lot about that. They don't know a whole lot about that. They are the creators of the legal system. So, of course, you're going to create a system that helps you get justice. But it didn't mean justice for everybody. Tristan says, the claims they are making wouldn't be hard to prove, yet they fail to bring real evidence. Yeah, when you go to court, you have to have real evidence. But what we're talking about today is, what if the rioters were black? What if the invaders were black? Okay. There have been plenty of times when black people have been able to bring significant evidence that would have gone to exonerate them from certain cases. But did they get off? No! O.J. Simpson changed the fucking game. But see, most of us don't have the type of money that O.J. Simpson had. We don't have the type of money and the type of influence that he had. So he was able to get off. So even the evidence that was put forth against him, some of it was good evidence, most of it wasn't good enough. But because he had lawyers that will point out the fact that that evidence ain't going to fly, that's why he got off. Had O.J. Simpson been relying on a public defender, that would have been his ass. That would have been it. Let's keep moving. Carol Chamberlain says, a man whose parents were dead, white man, attempted that in PA. Yeah. The lieutenant governor was pointing that shit out. Like, look at this shit. The lieutenant governor. Our lieutenant governor is something else. You see that guy? Like, he really does not look like he is in politics. I like him. I'm like, yo, this white guy, like, he's a liberal? Okay. Okay. Tristan says the same thing happened in Cali with two brothers trying to stick ballots for Trump. They got caught. The system works. They're trying to say that thousands and thousands of ballots were thrown out that would have worked for Donald Trump. Come on, man. Come on. The difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is really easy to see. You know, one thing I put a post up the other day for my Facebook friends. Y'all can see it. You know, when I said, right now the black men who are Trump supporters are like it's like homosexuality, because they really riding this man's dick. And some people don't like me saying that, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that just because you advocate for a white person that you are Uncle Tom, or Uncle Tom is not even really the right term, but let's say you a Sambo or you a sellout and all. I'm not going to say that, but I'll say this. One the differences between what I see with Trump supporters and we want to talk about black Trump supporters versus anybody else, is that black Trump supporters, particularly men, they want to say Trump's name all the time. They keep his name in their mouth. And that's not natural for a black man to do. Around the way, when I grew up and where I grew up, if you kept another man's name in your mouth all the time on some positive shit, they niggas would say, yo, get off his dick. All you talk about is, let's say the man's name is Dave. Dave this and Dave that. Stop sucking Dave dick. Like Dave walking and you got your hands right on his balls while he walking. Like, let his drawers do the work. Let his drawers keep his balls up. He don't need you. And sometimes y'all would get into a rumble over that, because it was a sign of disrespect for another man to say that another man was on another man's dick. But it was also the ultimate diss to actually be on a man's dick. I haven't heard any black men that I know of, that I can think of, keep Biden's name in their mouth. Have you? Please answer me this, y'all. Do you know any black men that are running around here like, yeah, Joe Biden is this and Joe Biden is that and Joe Biden going to do this. Joe Biden's the man. Joe, I need a cup of Joe. Yo, he acting really Joe. I don't hear that shit. But every time I turn around, Trump this. Oh, yeah, y'all just don't like Trump. Yeah, Trump is doing this. And Trump did this for us. And Trump. What the fuck? What we doing? What we doing? If I'm lying, yo, stop watching me. Don't listen to me. Defame me. I don't hear it. But all I hear out of black Trump supporters' mouths is Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. And you'll be arguing against, like, look, I don't fuck with Donald Trump like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like him. I know he's a racist. Regardless of whatever beef you have against Donald Trump, if you're not a supporter, they will try to keep you on the subject of Donald Trump or push you over to Biden. Well, Biden didn't do this. Biden did. You ain't even say shit about Biden. What you said was you don't like Donald Trump and you ain't voting for him. You never said, oh, Biden is better than Trump. You know, the Biden. Even when Kamala Harris was declared the vice president as the running mate, it wasn't like, oh yeah, Kamala this, Kamala that, Kamala. It wasn't like that. On some real shit. Keep it 100, y'all. On some real shit. Most of us voted for Joe Biden, not thinking that he could pull it off. Think about it. We didn't think he could win. You know why we didn't think he could win? Because we didn't keep his name in our mouth. We didn't. We was hoping he could win. So we was like, we better go out and represent, because I don't think we can beat this motherfucker. People who support him keep his name in their mouth. Time and time again, over and over and over and over. Am I lying? But I ain't even talking about the white people. The black people keep Trump's name in his mouth, in their mouths. Particularly black men, because somehow, some kind of way, Donald Trump became the more masculine, macho choice. I'm like, the fuck? What? To me, act like a bitch. He talked too much to be macho. He played a dozens too much to be macho. Real men don't do that shit. What real nigga you know? Think about your dad. Think about your granddad. Think about your uncles. Think about the black men that you have grown up with and you respect. Think about what man do you know that you respect? Always gabbing, always talking, and always trying to diss somebody, throwing verbal jabs at. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. Stop that. I didn't think Joe Biden could win. I ain't gonna front. I was like, we gonna fuck around, man. We gonna fuck around and have 4 more years of that nigga. I ain't think he could win. But I sure wasn't running around saying, yeah, Joe Biden, I ain't never had a political sticker. I ain't never had, even when Obama was running, I ain't never had a lawn. What's that shit you put in your lawn? You stick it on your lawn. I ain't got a lawn, but you know what I'm talking about. I ain't put the shit in my window. I never had a poster, you know what I'm saying? You know, telling nobody to vote for my candidate. I ain't never had a bumper sticker, none of that. I don't get down like that. But be honest with you, I don't even know anybody. I know a lot of people, y'all, from doing this show, from doing comedy, from just traveling. You know, I've met a lot of people. I don't know nobody that I don't know nobody that has a Biden Harris sticker on bumper sticker on their car. Do we not use bumper stickers anymore? You know we do, because y'all seen them in the streets. Certain people got them. I don't even remember when Hillary was running. I don't even remember her running mate's name. I definitely ain't see no stickers or no lawn things, lawn signs. Let's call them that for now until y'all correct me and tell me what it is. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see none of that shit. You saw that Trump shit everywhere, especially down south. Shit was real. Okay. Okay. Carol Chamberlain says, whenever I vote in PA, it's expected that I show ID, and I do. Tristan, she says, first off, they never have been given a clearance to hold their rally as close as Alex Jones did. You ain't never done lied, Tristan. That shit is real. Tristan, she says, they would have had security and had been on and security had been on high alert. There would have been gunfire. You know it. Carol says, has anyone thought that this is not about Biden, but more about Harris? I mean, if Biden dies, who becomes the president then? That's what scares them the most, in my opinion. It probably has something to do with that. Tristan says, they don't want a woman running things. They don't want a woman running things. Could be that. I know they don't want a woman running things. That was one of the big knocks on Hillary. And honestly, I don't know about y'all, but that was one of the reasons that I didn't think that Biden was going to win. I was like, yo, man, nobody wins with a woman on their tickets, right? Nobody wins. Everybody who has a woman on the presidential ticket, they lose. Hillary didn't win. John McCain didn't win. Who was that? Who had a woman on as their vice president running mate? Was it Walter Mondale? For some reason, I want to say Walter Mondale. Was it Walter Mondale? It was in the 80s. It was definitely in the 80s. It didn't win. America ain't trying to see no woman in that high of an office. Well, this time the stakes were higher because it was like, we got to get Donald Trump the fuck out of there. And evidently more people felt like, yo, we got to get this motherfucker out of there than didn't feel that way. It ain't even really, still ain't really all about what Biden is going to do. We know what the other motherfucker was doing and what he was going to do if he got another chance. So, James Price. My man James Price, what's going on, Ross? He says, if not talking about black, brown independence, then it is in support of white supremacists. Oh shit, I ain't know I had a call. My bad. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take your call. Let me just finish. I'm reading these comments. Okay. Tristan says that's called whataboutism. It's a thing that they like to do. Tristan says, I know Biden. Tristan says, I knew Biden would win. Really? He says, I knew it because I was sure that Trump didn't gain any support. I don't know, man. I sure didn't feel that way. Tristan says, a lot of that is online talk. That is a fabrication, sir. All right. Okay. Carol says, especially my support. Tristan says, they call it LARPing. They play a role and claim to be something, and they say what they want them to say. Okay. Tristan also says, I don't see them saying it. I see online voices claiming to be shit. It's fakery. Word. James Price says, it doesn't matter if you support any neo-colonist. You are not helping us come out of the conditioning we must overcome in order to redeem our people from the fall from power to determine our. Okay, hold on. Oh, Tim Kaine was Hillary running mate. I don't know, because I wasn't voting for Hillary, and I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I said, nah, I ain't fucking with this election. Thinking back on it, I'm like, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do Hillary. But I really thought she was gonna win anyway, so I figured she don't need my vote. There's no way Donald Trump will win. Fuck. Tristan says people hate and didn't trust Trump. Yep. Wasn't about Biden. Okay. Geraldine Ferraro. Yeah, it was Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro. Yo, they got their ass whooped. He won one state. I think it was Minnesota where he came from. One state. I mean, fucking Reagan put a whooping on that ass. Like, yo, you going nowhere, Walt. He's more famous for the way he got his ass kicked than anything else. Wasn't nobody fucking with him. And this was Reagan's second term. Reagan was a horrible president. But let history tell it, they done sanitized a whole lot of his shit. But I'll never forget Reaganomics. I remember my man had a rhyme back when we was in 8th grade. He said, we run around talking about Reaganomics. Just went up on the price of comics. T. Carey Wright says, he was smart. Biden picked a black woman with a white husband and who attended an HBCU. I still didn't think it would matter during feminist times. Okay. Stacey White says, I'm very glad Donald Trump blocked off social media. I could dig it. James Price says, we are talking about supporting our historical oppressors instead of organizing our melanated people to control our own areas and territories on a local level. Nah, that's not what we're talking about. If you were here earlier in the show, my brother, you would, first of all, the show is about what if the invaders were black. So earlier in the show, what I was talking about was we wouldn't have been there for that purpose in the first place because there would have been no reason to. Like when we protest or whatever, we're protesting against physical injustice and violence perpetrated against us. We're not protesting because of any governmental issues, because we already know we on the short end of the stick when it comes to that. We're not getting that. We can fight, we can march, we can walk, we can sit in, we can do all of that shit. And guess what? Nothing changes. You know, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, guess what? Nothing has changed. You know, they threw us a couple of little morsels, right? Give a dog a bone, small bones, but not enough. So no, we're not talking about supporting any candidates. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is the fact that we do, whether we acknowledge how government affects us, it does. You know, I love it when people, come on shows and be like, it don't really matter because the president don't affect me, or I'm off the grid anyway, and blah, 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 blah. It don't fucking matter. Government affects you anywhere you go. You ain't exempt, especially if your color is anywhere close to this. You ain't exempt from shit. And so you can, like a child can close his or her eyes and think that they're invisible. But guess what? Everybody can see you and you can't see nobody else. And that puts you in a very bad position, dickhead. So, yeah, I mean, I just be listening to these niggas. These conscious niggas just think they off the fucking chain. Or when they off the grid. Nah, we off the grid. I don't have no social security number. I don't have no this. I don't have no that. I can, like, motherfucking and. So that just limits your access to places where you can go. Because you even if you understand universal law, here's the problem with people who understand universal law. Here's what they don't seem to understand. In order for universal law to apply, you got to be around other people who understand the application of universal law. Boing! So if they don't know or respect the universal law that you are so versed in, they ain't going to fucking abide by it. So you will be dead to rights. You know what happens when you're dead to rights? You're dead. Right? Just saying. So nah, we not doing that. You'll never have me on a show promoting any candidate in any. We don't get down like that. That ain't even a conversation that I could have, because I'm a problem when it comes to that kind of shit. I'm too concerned with the truth. But the truth can't all come from one source. All right, let me get to the caller. Caller with the last number is 8658. Thank you for holding. I'm so sorry that I didn't see you. You know what I mean? But you know, I get on my rants and I get all passionate. Yeah, no, but thanks for calling through. Well, what's on your mind this morning? Well, this afternoon.
I had so many things that I wanted to say.
And you going to say them now.
Kept ranting.
You going to say those things right now, caller. Right now. Matter of fact, let me turn you up.
I posted that remark about it not being about Biden. It's more about Harris. Mm-hmm. And you touched on exactly what I was saying. It doesn't matter that she's a woman. I think what scares them the most is because she's of Black and Asian or Indian descent. Yeah. You know, he did a good thing. Like you said, a lot of people didn't think he would win. But like Taki said, when he pulled her in, as much as during the debates that they had heated debates, he knew what he was doing. Because I don't think that out of the times that he has run and not won, I don't think this was the time he thought he was going to do it either. But he knew he had to bring out, quote unquote, the big gun. He needed a big gun in order to pull this off. Mm-hmm. Now, someone on my timeline this morning, white lady I used to work with, she posted that in order to stop the madness, we need to recount and revote. So at first I was going to go in. Then I thought, nah, that's what she wants me to do. She wants to have an argument at 7 o'clock in the morning. Word. You're not getting me, boo-boo. You're just not going to get me.
I hear that.
I'm sitting here relaxing, drinking my coffee. You ain't worth it to me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we have to think as a people, you know, and I kind of understood what James was saying, but I don't particularly agree with it. You know, when they stormed that building, they showed you what they've been showing you for hundreds of years. You don't mean a darn thing to them. Mm-hmm. You're just a flake of pepper in a sea of salt.
Yeah.
And that's where they want to keep you. But we, on the other hand, yeah, we do need to unite. We need to do things as a people. But we have so many people who are so brainwashed, who are so afraid to go against the status quo. You know, you got people out here that say, oh yeah, I'm Black, I'm down with the Black movement, until it's time to step up to the Black movement.
True.
You ask the question, what would happen? What would have happened if they had been black? You already know.
Mm-hmm.
That young lady that drove past the Capitol realized she was lost, made a U-turn. Capitol Police was all over her.
Word.
She had a baby in the backseat of her car. She had just given birth a few months ago. They shot and killed that woman for driving while black. I don't care how they put it, that's exactly why they killed her. Because she was driving while black. She wasn't supposed to be in front of the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing was going on at that time. She was just driving.
Yeah.
Just driving.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the National History Museum, I went in June of 2016. 17. The weekend I went, I don't know what was going on in DC, but most of the national monuments were locked down. You couldn't get to where Martin Luther King was, his statue was. All that was on lockdown. You want to know why? Because blacks were in an abundance to see this museum.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful sunny day, you know?
Yeah.
But we can't have anything. We can't congregate. We can't congregate. If I stood on the corner talking to you too long, if a police officer rode down the street, he'd come around that corner quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing others coming up and down the street. You understand? And it's only you and I talking. What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people got to think about this. You know, I don't agree that they didn't have help because they had to have help. And a friend of mine who is a retired naval officer who worked for the Capitol Police for over 20-something years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at one of the pictures that they posted today on the internet, there's one of the insurrectionists, because I'm not going to call them rioters, right? We're not permitted to say that. He got a vest on that say police.
Yeah.
He ain't no damn police officer.
Yeah. I
And
hear
the
that.
thing about it is, when it took so long, there was a guy from Maryland, forget what his title was, but it enraged me when he was on CNN. And he was saying the calls were made twice to them to send reinforcements. But nobody could authorize that call but Donald Trump.
Right.
He wanted that to happen. He wanted that to happen. He probably wanted more blacks to show up so that there would be more bloodshed.
Mm.
He didn't want them white folks arrested. He didn't want that white woman killed. But you got to think about it. You went into a branch of the United States Armed Forces, supposedly to defend your country and your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
But you let an idiot like this incite you to throw all of that away. I actually saw the video of the moment that woman was shot. It was horrific.
Yep.
But her husband's response was even worse. Why did I have to find out that my wife was dead on the news? First of all, your wife ain't had no damn business there. Oh, but she was an avid Trump supporter. Well, she just gave the ultimate sacrifice. Trust and believe he wouldn't have did it for her.
I really don't think he would. He wouldn't die for nobody. I don't think he would die for himself.
He ain't dying. He ain't dying for himself. And I say this all the time. Trump is Satan reincarnated. He is Satan on earth.
If he ain't, he's
there's
close.
No way you can tell me that is not a satanic man. And I'm not the overly religious Bible-toting person. That's my brother's rule in our family. But anyway, it just ain't that way.
Right. So
they made a good point. how he so quickly called for armed forces to clear that area when and during the Black Lives Matters protest, to clear that area so he could stand in front of that church with a Bible upside down.
Yeah, he
how fast did it take him to make that decision?
He got them up out of there with the quickness. Quickness.
He could have did the same thing here, but he wanted to show as a show of force. Look what I can do. Donnie's such a good boy. Donnie's such a powerful boy. And all the while that was happening, there is a video circulating. Don't know how true it is, but it shows the Trump family partying and having a ball, watching this shit on TV.
Well, like I said earlier, whether even if, like, propaganda aside, like I said, I don't see how you can be comfortable with what happened on Wednesday when you just think about the strength or the weakness of the security force of where you live. If they will allow something like that to happen in government buildings, then you know your home ain't safe. You know your community ain't safe. You know the stores that you go to, that you shop in aren't safe. You know the stadiums that you cheer at ain't safe. I mean, the Capitol Hill? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Took them. But look how long it took them to send a parade of state troopers, not military, but state troopers from the state of Virginia. Now, let's face it, we're talking about the DMV. They are stone's throw from each other.
Mm-hmm.
It took them till 10 o'clock that night to start sending state troopers, and then they rode in their cars with lights flashing. But in the meantime, y'all have done total havoc on the nation's capital.
Mm-hmm.
It took Mike Pence to finally make the call when he grew a set and decided that Trump was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But in the interim, they were going into the Capitol shouting, "Where's Pence?" They put up a noose because they wanted him dead, because they knew he didn't support Trump's beliefs and their beliefs.
Well,
had they found Mike Pence that day, he might have been assassinated.
Joe, they was in there chanting something about what they say? Something Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Hang Mike Pence. That's what they were saying. Hang Mike Pence.
Hang him.
Hang
That's
Mike.
Why the news was out.
Yo.
That's why the news was out.
Like, it's. But this is what I'm talking about. When you have lack of understanding about the way things work, and somebody who does have understanding about the way it works is not telling you the way it works, so you wind up doing some shit thinking that it was going to be okay when it's totally not going to be. And that's why the uneducated citizens are normally dangerous, and they're normally misled. They're dangerous because they will perpetrate violence, or they will commit violence acts without knowing the whole story or the way that things are supposed to go. Somebody who is educated about something, can easily lead them, because they don't know much, so they can't think as far as somebody who has learned more can think. And they're also always good on the front lines, because you can teach it. You may not be able to teach a motherfucker how to do math or how to conjugate a verb, but you can teach them how to punch somebody in the mouth and block them from punching them back in the mouth. You can teach them how to pull a trigger and how to shoot through the sights. I'm not saying that people who haven't gone to school are worthless, because they definitely have value. Each and every person in the world has value, but the way that you determine their value and what you find use for them for is going to be determined on what you think, where you think that they will fit, and where they gravitate towards easily. So yeah, it's a tough ride, and you know, my whole thing was when we were talking about this is it's not any surprise that all of them hooligans, all of those invaders were uneducated redneck whites. It's not surprising. It's not surprising that they were blue collar workers. Just like in the military, you don't see military officers on the front lines shooting guns and shit like that. It's always the grunts.
Hell no.
The ones that didn't.
Hell no. That's what the enlisted men are for.
Right.
And women.
Because the enlisted men have not gone to school. They haven't gotten the degrees. They haven't done the things that can give them a pass
90 seconds
from having to do the dirty work. And
well, some of them have.
No. They haven't done it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a college degree, you won't be an enlisted man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, the way it used to be, you used to automatically become a captain. The way it is now, you can still have a college degree and only be like an E5. You know what I'm saying? But you will be an officer really, really quick.
60 seconds.
You'll be an officer really, really quick. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into this. And once again, I'm not trying to say that blue collar workers are nothing good, are good for nothing but dirty work. And I'm not trying to say that people who haven't gotten college degrees don't know anything. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they are the people who are often enlisted to do the dirty work because they don't often require all of the information that's necessary to make an informed decision about whether fighting is a good thing or not for certain causes that may be good or not. That's all I'm saying about that.
Exactly.
So
I didn't take that any other way, and I hope nobody
10 seconds.
think about it. It's the truth.
Yeah, I just didn't want nobody else to get it messed up because
I was totally ashamed of myself in a sense because I was glued to my TV from the beginning until I couldn't stay awoke anymore that night. I felt myself becoming so upset with each new development. And I'm sitting here and I'm screaming at my TV, where the hell is reinforcement? They knew for weeks that this shit was coming. This was put out on the internet in November before Thanksgiving, that there was going to be something happening on the 6th of January on the House floor. They specified that. They were not ill-prepared. They didn't want to be prepared.
Right.
That's how I took it. Not ill-prepared. Don't tell me they were ill-prepared. They didn't want to be prepared because the fix was already in.
Hey.
Now they're circulating 3 days before the inauguration. There's supposed to be another uprising.
But wait. Before you continue, I see we have another caller on the line with the last number is 8125. I just want you to know that I see you. I'm acknowledging you, and I'm gonna pick you up in just a second. All right. So, all right.
So now they're saying there's another uprising, supposedly, quote unquote, supposedly happening 3 days before the inauguration. Will they be better prepared this time? No, they won't, because if it does happen and something does happen, they don't care. They would rather do it on the 20th, on the inauguration day. They would love to do that.
Yeah.
Because these are power-hungry people. Let me show you how powerful I am. Let me show you how powerful my people are.
Yo.
You're running around telling people you're not going to come to the inauguration. Who the hell cares? Might be safer if you don't show up.
Listen, this.
But anyway, I just had to. I just had to say that. I'm sorry. I just had to. Anybody that believes that this man is not behind this and that this man is not plotting to do more. And here's the more serious thing. If he had that much control over that many people on the 6th of this month, what do you think he has control over with nuclear codes, secrets? One of Nancy Pelosi's aides, his laptop, his or her laptop was stolen. We don't know what the hell was on there. And you sure as hell can't expect anybody in government to be honest enough to wipe it clean before it got out the door once it was known that it was taken.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know who works for who.
Yeah.
And who supports who. But anyway, that's my rant for the day.
Well, I'm glad that you ranted, you know what I mean? Next time I want you to rant and rave. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna turn your volume up a little bit higher.
You know, I was hanging out on the phone for so long, it was like, oh my God, I'm about to hang up.
Don't start it. Don't
anyway,
start it. Don't
I don't take it personally.
No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
It's your
we
show.
Ain't doing that.
I'm just a participant.
We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. But no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. All right. So stand by.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Caller with the last number is 8125. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Thank you for holding on so long. What's on your mind this afternoon?
No, I want to know if the woman was still on the line.
Yeah, she's still on the line.
Okay. All right. Can you explain to me, either one of you, what is it about Trump that makes him so demonic?
What is
you
it
really
about?
Have to ask that question?
Wait. Hold on. Let me ask you this. What is it about Trump that makes him so angelic?
You don't ask me that.
I ask you anything I want to ask.
Claiming that he's demonic.
I ask you anything I want to ask.
Because don't turn it around.
No.
Yeah, I know your show. Your real good show.
Yeah, it is.
I'm calling in because I wanted to find out about the particular topic about black versus white, whether or not there would be a difference. But then I hear more criticism about a man that, again, when people start criticizing him, they never give details. Never.
Okay, well, let's get into some
details.
Details.
This wouldn't be any different.
Well, let's get into some. Let's get into some details. Ask the question that you want answered, and we can go about answering. Go ahead. Is that the only
answer?
Okay.
Answer it again.
What is it that makes him so satanic? All right, I'll go into that. I think that what makes him
okay.
First of all, I don't consider him to be satanic. But if you're talking about Satanism, you're talking about somebody who is devilish in nature. And if you're talking about somebody who is devilish in nature, you're talking about somebody who does devilish deeds, basically evil things, basically bad things. You know, to some people, devilish deeds may be things that are just unconventional or things that are hard for you to understand because of your cultural identity and the things that you have been taught and exposed to. So when some people may say that somebody,
so enlighten me. So tell me, because actually she said he was demonic. I took that to be symbolic. But if either one of you believe there's actually demonic or satanic, why not? People believe in God for any particular reason.
Okay.
But what has he done that has actually harmed people or harmed the country?
Okay, you talking about as president?
Said.
Okay.
Done.
No. Okay, as a president or before, because I can do both.
Really?
As a president.
Oh, as a president? Okay. Well, one thing that he has done as a president to put the country at harm is he has not conducted himself in the way that a leader should conduct themselves. You know, we have the First Amendment, and the First Amendment gives you freedom of speech, but it doesn't exonerate you from holding yourself with a certain level of decorum and based on your influence. So when we start talking about the way that you influence someone, you know, when a parent raises their children, the first lessons that a child learns is through through whatever their parents teach them, because your parents are your first heroes. Your first,
Okay, I got it. He said some things that supposedly influenced his followers. Okay, I got it, without you having to tap dance all the way around the question for 15 minutes. So what has he said that has actually caused either some sort of outbreak, some sort of outburst, or some sort of destruction, or some sort of harm to, again, America or to the people?
What are you, serious? So let me get this. Let me get this straight. So, because what I'm getting from
you don't know the answer.
Oh, I know the answer.
You don't know
I know the answer, but just like you cut me off.
You don't know the answer.
Just like you cut me off. Just like you cut.
Jumping in because she doesn't know.
Just like you cut me off when I was.
It's not about cultural differences. Okay, it's all about whether or not anybody, black, white, or Asian.
See, what you're not going to do over here is overtalk me. See, I have this thing called a mute button, and you will go on mute if you try to overtalk me. So now you just hung up. Good. That's just the way it works. You don't just get to come over here and say whatever you want to say. And when you don't get a chance, and when you ask a question and somebody doesn't answer it in the way that you like, then you get to just overtalk them and push your own agenda. So, I'm glad he called in, and I'm glad that he's mad. And this is
I am too.
This is the same type of energy that got us where we are. Like, this dude, Donald Trump, was talking about, he told his followers that, look, there has to be come out here and make a problem. Come out here and tear shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, fight for me. So what do you if you agree with what somebody says, I guess that they're never wrong. And if you disagree with somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're never right, but you have to be a little bit more objective. So we have
well, here's the thing. Trump did say to march down to the Capitol. I'll be down there. They expected him to come. He was playing the Pied Piper. If you ever read the nursery rhyme or story, whatever it was about the Pied Piper, he led them straight to the river. And most of them jumped in and drowned. Those are the ones that are arrested and charged. He all
but told them to shoot, stab, hurt, cut heads off, and fuck shit up. Well, that's the only thing he didn't directly do. That's what I'm saying. Like, we could go all. First of all, I'm not going to let nobody come on here and make this show about Donald Trump. That's what I didn't. You don't see his name anywhere in this title, and I'm not having that. So, dude is probably listening offline. You know what I'm saying? I mean, off the telephone line. But we have one last caller that we're going to take, and then we're going to get on up out of here. Caller with the last numbers 9860. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Thank you for holding. What's on your mind this afternoon?
Peace. Thank you for straightening that out. Yeah, we definitely had none of that. Not coming on here running nothing. Not even your mouth if you run the wrong way. But I feel him, right? I feel him. Okay, Donald's got a bad rap. It's not Don. It's the system. It's all to say. It doesn't matter who you put in that position. If anybody has those leanings, which all Caucasians do, unless you're a rarity, a John Brown. But I mean, how many John Browns do we have in this country? How many people actually want equality for all people? Very few. They want their group to have privileges that other people don't have. So we just saw an example of people exercising their human rights. They have a right to organize themselves. They have a right to protest. They have a right to even assemble. They were totally within all of their rights. But what they don't have a right to do is to take their point of view and say that it's for all of us. That's not right. That's not accurate. But when they show up and we don't, when they take action and we don't, well, they're the only ones who have the mic. They're the only ones who have the stage. So we can't say what would have happened if Black people would have did it, because Black people didn't do it. Black people got 1 million people together to go sit on the grass and hear speeches. Martin Luther King was talking about getting millions of poor people together to go up there and, shut down the city. They weren't talking about going to protest. They were talking about going and demanding a cut of the check, which would have got them nothing either. Because the rules go for the First Amendment, you have the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to religion. You have the right to assemble. You have a right to petition the government, and you have a right to actually issue orders to the public servants. But that's the part that we fail at. We rally up, we get together, and we don't give orders. We make petitions. We ask instead of give orders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my mind, maybe that was what they were actually going to do on the 6th, that they were actually going to exercise their constitutional right to instruct their public officials. They said they were going to recall Congress. That's a powerful statement. A lot of people have overlooked what was really going on up there. Now, at that moment, with that many people gathered there, you have power of the people. That you don't need a permit, none of that. That's not in the Constitution. But the assembly, the power of the people to assemble is. And the right to revolt, or the right of, if you want to call it revolution, is always there. And these are the things that they took out of school when they stopped teaching us civics, because they knew that somebody might actually remember and take action. These Caucasoids, they took action. Yeah, they weren't the brightest, they weren't the most organized, but damn, they had some heart. And that's more than we could say for a lot of people who have had opportunities to go and take action, who failed to take action. We just got to do what we need to do for our people. While everybody else is doing what they need to do for theirs, we're not to get in their way. We're to be focused on our business. We need to get our communities together, our families and friends secured and protected from people who don't have our best interests in mind. That's what we need to do. Instead of just getting into other people's politics, we need to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and get it done.
All right.
And that's my rant. That's my rant for today. Thank you.
That's cool.
Appreciate you.
The only thing about it, my brother, is first of all, Donald Trump does not get a bad rap. There's no victimization when it comes to him. Nobody is making him look bad. If anything, he makes other people look bad. And anything.
They're all the same.
No, it's not the same. Because it's one thing for somebody to disagree with you or your policies or the way that you are, and try to make you look bad. It's a whole different thing for you to do everything to shine the light on you in a negative way, and then you bitch about it when people say something about it, because you have a lot of people who agree with it. We have to take accountability for all of our actions individually. You know what I'm saying? And all of our actions have everything to do with the way that we were raised, the things that we have gotten away with, and the things that have stopped us. Well, when you have grown up with access and nobody has ever stopped you because of your access to accessibility, well, then you think that the rules are different for you than everyone else. So just like you said, don't blame him, it's the system. Well, when it works for you, then the system is great. That's the Donald Trump position. But when the system doesn't work for you, then you want to throw out the system in real time. So when the riots are against you, then nah, we need law and order. We have due process in this country, and you can't break the chain of due process. That's how it is when people are riding against you. But when they're riding for you, nah, fuck due process. This is the government of the people. You know what I mean? You gotta go and take it. You can't. We can't rely on the courts. We can't rely on the judges. We can't rely on. Nah, son. I see you. I see you. I see the double standards. I'm not getting. I'm not. We were talking about media today. He is media. Much more powerful than the media that he manipulates on a daily basis with his tweets, with his presence. You've never seen a president of the United States that was on TV every single day until Donald Trump. You never seen nothing like it. He creates every problem.
Right about that.
That's right. It's not by mistake. That's by design. And guess who designed it? He designed that. So I'm not trying to let him off the hook for none of that shit that comes against him. He created that. He likes it.
Oh no, definitely don't let him off the hook for it. But what I'm saying is not just a Donald thing. I mean, this.
Well, and this
all presidents. I mean, all presidents are white supremacists just by office. Just by office. The office is a white supremacist invention. This is something that they established for their benefit, and they've used anybody that's sat in that office for their benefit.
That's true.
So
my thing is
he's a product. He's a product of the system.
No. He's different. And he's not a product of the system. I can't let you say that. I can't. He's not a product of the system.
He's definitely a product.
No, I'm going to tell you why. All the presidents that we've had before, whether we liked them or not liked them, what we didn't like were their policies. We didn't like the things that we didn't like the laws that they wrote. We didn't like the bills that they passed. We didn't like the system that they created. That's the problem that we had with them. Because none of the other presidents gave us a chance to know them beforehand. Like we didn't know Ronald Reagan or Bill Clinton. We didn't know them. You know, they even though Ronald Reagan was an actor, we didn't know him as a person. We weren't as involved with him before he became president. With Donald Trump, we already knew of the things that he was about and the things that he did before he ever became president. He was famous before he became presidentially famous. So I'm saying all of that to say this. We may have had problems with the policies of our past presidents, but we didn't have as much of a problem with who they were personality wise because we didn't get a chance to know them. He gave us a chance to know who he was. We don't have a problem with his policies so much as we have a problem with him as a man. We feel like we know him as a man. As a person, we know personal things about him. We know about his involvement with the Central Park 5. We know it. We live that. We seen it. So we know about his policies dealing with black housing. We know it. We know of racist things that he has done on a personal and professional level before he ever became president. We have the scouting report on this man as a citizen. He can't use the same arguments that we would have had against Barack Obama, against George W. Bush, against Bill Clinton, against George H.W. Bush, against Ronald Reagan, against Jimmy Carter, Henry, Gerald Ford, and what's his name?
Nixon.
And Nixon. It's not the same shit. He has brought forth. I'll give it to him. He has brought forth the new, but you live by it and you die by it. But you can't hide by it. That's what you can't do.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you on that. Then. In that respect, I agree. But my whole point was that we're not going to be able to make it about one individual, that we have to look at this thing, the bigger picture. and understand where we're missing our opportunities to do what's in our best interest. And the time that we're taking to discuss other people and their situations instead of figuring out our best avenue, it's going to be more of a delay in our progress. That's what all I wanted to say is that we should be definitely focusing more on what we're going to do to better our situation, period, in the story, more so than what other people are doing. And that's where I feel we need to focus our efforts at so we can get more done 2021. 2020 has been a revealing, letting us know a lot of weak spots. Now that we know what the weak spots are, we need to act on it. We need to get in gear and organize ourselves. Because if we're not organized, there is no hope for us. I mean, we have to organize on a local level first. We have to get people involved block by block. And if we can't do that, then there is nothing else to talk about. We're just armchair talking. We're just talking about what ifs, and that's the problem.
Okay.
We need to get in gear. We need to do something for ourselves.
Yeah.
Can I respond to that?
All right, but hurry up, man. We can't do this show forever.
Put a thought out. Just a thought. This man promised, and he said in the 90s that if he was to ever run for president, he would run as a Republican because they were the stupidest people. However, they forgot that he said it, and he uses them as pawns. That's all I gotta say. Who supports him? The majority of Republicans.
He recognized his star power. This man is not ignorant to anything that deals with him and his personality and his influence. He's not silly. He's not ignorant. He's not uninformed. He can't claim none of that shit. You can't claim that. This motherfucker says shit. He claims he says shit on video and acts like he didn't say it. Like, you know people press record, right? Like, we can go right back to that.
Exactly.
He doesn't seem to understand that. But listen, y'all, we got to get on up out of here. I appreciate y'all coming through, and I really appreciate this conversation this morning. I thought that it would get deep. I didn't know that it was going to get this deep, but I'm actually impressed with the whole exchange and the conversation, man. I want y'all to have a great day, spectacular as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? Make it what you will. Make it the best that you can. You know what I mean? Love is love. Take care of your peeps. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. And let's take care of each other. So I holler back at y'all. Let's do these birthday shout outs and get back. All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious January 10th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Hold on. This shit. Number one out the box. My girl, Linda Mae Yarrington, turning 33 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And Brenda Gauss, turning 57 years old today. And Pierre Theolina Elizabeth, happy birthday to you. And Monique Chavaget Hall. That's probably Savalier. Okay. But anyway. And Muna Ayin Williams, happy birthday to you. And Vashti, that's her name, because she came on one of our walks, and I remember her. That's my girl. Happy birthday to you, Vashti, and she's also a go-getter. And last but not least, my girl lived right around the corner. Well, used to. You know, she's getting so older now. Every time my birthday come along, she always talking about something. You getting old, sweetie. You getting old. Well, now your ass is getting old. Turning 41 years old today. My girl, Yvette Brown. Brown. Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of you and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious. January 10th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, listen, man. If we originally we were talking about what if the invaders had been black? Well, I think we already know. We touched on it a lot, but I'm going to tell you this. Whether they were black, whether they were white, whether they were Hispanic, whether they were this, that, and the third, green as an alien from Mars or Zoltan. This situation where you see the security break down in your government, that is your representation around the world. You know, we talk a lot about, and I hate when they get black people talking about this. We looking bad around the world. This is the first time that I actually agree. I used to never think that we look bad around the world, considering the world didn't give a shit about how we looked when we were being hanged, when we were being disenfranchised, and we still are, when we were being beaten, hurt, when we were being enslaved and put in bondage and chains, when we were made to work for free, when we were having our babies snatched out of our stomachs, when we were only having babies so we could help out the economic structure of our slave owner, when we were forced into chattel slavery, and then later on continuing to have the Stockholm syndrome and the mental slavery. No, we didn't look bad around the world when any of those things were happening and still are happening. But you mean to tell me that when government starts fucking up, we start looking bad? Well, this time I think they may have been right. We do look bad, because even though those things happen to us, they wouldn't normally let it happen to them. And now they've let it happen to them. This is serious cause for concern. Very serious. Extremely serious. I want y'all to take that in. But remember this, though. We've always been all we had. So had it been black people would have been the only one advocating for black people, for black liberation. See, white people fight for black people and black causes, but they don't fight for black liberation because they think that we're already free. We just a little fucked up. Well, I don't see it that way. And hopefully you don't see it that way either. You know what I mean? Y'all do the damn thing today, man. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all back to life. We will be back on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for another Daily Go Getimism show. This has been the Urban Therapy with Sun show, man. I get back at y'all. Hey, yo. So low. Let me get Blog Talk on up out of here. Peace, y'all. And then
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
And my Instagrammers good looking out. Peace to y'all. And for my YouTubers, don't forget, listen, if y'all haven't shared this show, y'all gotta share this one. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you gotta subscribe. And make sure y'all hit that like button. And I get back with y'all. I holler back. I get back. I be back. I love black. Peace. All right.